Hi, I'm Stuart Flint from Flint Analytics, and in this series I'm going to look at some of the technology that I use to do data science. So, talking about visualizations, and lots of software available to do visualizations with. It'd be remiss of me to not mention Excel. Really quick and simple, very easy to dump a CSV text file in. Any data you've been given from somebody else normally comes in Excel, so very quick to produce charts and quick understanding of data, and so definitely have to mention Excel. I want to talk a bit about Tableau, and whilst I'm saying this about Tableau, it pretty much applies to Power BI as well. I primarily used Tableau, but have dabbled in Power BI just to sort of understand some key differences between the two. But I got into Tableau. It was being mentioned at work, but I didn't have a license through work because I wasn't working on the projects that were using it. And so I downloaded Tableau Public, which is free to anybody to download, and just had a play with that really on data that I cared about, which was soccer data as it happened. So, and I taught myself Tableau and how to use it to the point that when I needed something that was able to operate on the size of data that I had within the electricity industry, it was Tableau was able to handle that, and I was able to use it for what I needed. So I really think it's simple. It's pretty simple in terms of as long as you're identifying things as dimensions or measures, it's a pretty simple tool to use. It's great, I think, for a standalone dashboard. I think if you had something where you have one data set, one CSV or a set of CSVs, and you don't want to do anything more complicated than just visualize off that. It's great for that, and it's very easy to create a dashboard. Tableau Public will share that on a website that you can then link to. So I really recommend it for that. Another thing that I really like is the inclusion of clustering. One of the options is that you can cluster over multiple dimensions, so you're bringing that unsupervised machine learning into effectively a visualization software. Really good for just understanding, especially in multiple dimensions, how close and how grouped certain things are. The last thing I want to mention with Tableau, and it goes on to how I use it with R and Python, is Tableau is fantastic for playing with visualizations and coming up with different charts and different ways of looking at that data. And often I find that the data that I end up or the chart I end up going with was probably not something I had front of mind when I started. And so if I talk about R and Python now, they have really fantastic frameworks of ways of customizing visualizations. They also have packages like R Markdown and Bokeh, which are great for incorporating as part of like the end of a series of Python or R steps that you're using. So I will use, for anything reproducible or anything large scale, I will use R or Python to utilize all that capability in terms of machine learning. All of the packages that I may want to utilize, all of the charting types that are available. Think about Seaborn in Python. Utilize all of that, then output it either through Bokeh or R Markdown. I do that, but I couldn't have really come up with the charts that I wanted to as well as I'd like to if I didn't have something like Tableau that allowed me to interactively play with that. And I'll give you an example. Is right now I've been working on supervised machine learning classification code, and I was really interested in how I visualize the impact of hyperparameters that have been tested. So, if it's regularization with logistic regression, then what's the impact of that over the models that were built, the cross-validation faults. So one thing I did was I just read that out as a CSV file. My output of that scikit-learn code, I just took that data frame of results, pulled it into Tableau, started playing around with it, and I realized these were those charts that I wanted. After maybe half an hour of playing with it, I really had designed what I wanted to see. I was able to then go and do that as part of the Python process and actually write that out as part of Bokeh, as part of my web app, effectively. And so that's something I just really wanted to share with you. That's how I utilize Tableau as part of that Python and R end-to-end process, and that's my I guess those are my tips around visualization. But if it's easy, start with Excel. If it's a little bit more complicated and it's a once-off, then I'd use Tableau. Otherwise, I'd like to embed it as part of a process with R and Python.